always have some kind of difficulty choosing a theme for May for some reason, and this time for my mom's bullet journal it was the same problem, because I started with an idea. I had already 3 spreads planned out, but I just wasn't feeling it. And then I decided to switch ideas completely and I ended up with this theme: tea and spring cafes. Hi, I'm Juliana and welcome back to another video. As I said, today we are doing the May setup in my mom's bullet journal, and it was highly inspired by this PET tape from the washi tape shop and these 2 sticker sheets from eBay. As usual, everything will be linked down below in the description. I always thought of doing a tea theme for my mom because she loves tea, she drinks it every day, and for me it wasn't a very appealing theme to do in my own bullet journal because I'm more of a coffee girl. But I didn't have quite enough tea stationery to do a setup just with that, so I decided to use whatever I had with that motif and bring in something else that would match the vibe. And the perfect thing that I found was this PET tape, because it had teacups already in it and some cafes. And of course you don't only drink coffee at a cafe, so I think it fits the overall theme. You guys already know the drill by now if you watch my videos. I'm doing a collage for the cover page, and this time I'm doing a very minimal collage because I guess I didn't have any inspiration or motivation to do it. I don't know why, I guess I was feeling a little burned out, so I tried to keep everything on the minimalist side so I didn't have to sit around and record during 4 hours straight. So the technique is pretty much the same as I always do. I start by defining the thing I want to be the main focus of the page. In this case is the bigger teacup that I stick onto white sticker paper so it would pop against the background and didn't blend with the other stuff. Then I build from the background to the front, and I start with the more neutral things I have, which in this case is the white doily, then another paper that sometimes I use as texture, in this case is the green paper, and then I go back and forth with the washi tapes and the stickers to see where they can be placed. Sometimes I change my mind and I move them around, but I try to really be mindful about the placement because I don't like to rip the paper below. The color palette of this theme is purple, green and beige details, so I wrote the title in purple and I used a darker purple to do a little drop shadow and make it appear a little more because it was kinda lost on the white background. And then for the left page I'm gluing the green paper down and I'm putting a sticker right in the middle where I'm going to write a little phrase that in Portuguese is O mês das mães, and in English it means the month of the mothers, because at least here in Portugal we celebrate Mother's Day in May, and May is my mom's favorite month, so I decided to make it kinda obvious. And also, for those who don't know, I'm Portuguese, my mom as well, so I always do her journal in Portuguese because she doesn't understand English very well, so of course I'm not going to force her to learn a language just to use her own journal, but I always translate everything to you guys. We are now in the calendar spread and I used the dark purple pen again to do the lines, and I kinda regret that because it ended up being a little too dark for the color palette I was going for, but it's done now and I can do nothing about it. For the layout, I put the calendar as far to the right as I could because I'm going to use the left side for decoration. And also the month starts on a Friday, so it left me a little space perfect to put a specific sticker from the PET tape that had these flowers dropping down, so it was perfect for this space. For the decoration on the left side, I used a strip of the green paper to kinda act as an anchor to the stickers I'm going to put on top, so they aren't just floating around on the page. I put this cafe sticker on white sticker paper just as I did for the teacup on the cover spread, because these stickers from the PET tape are a little bit transparent, and since the green paper is kinda dark, it would show through from underneath. So since this one was the main focus, I did that to make it look better. And then I just put some other washi tapes and stickers around that, and it's pretty much done for decoration. To bring in a little bit more of purple, I used my dot marker from Ohuhu to put a dot on top of each number. And I know I'm missing the days of the week on top of the calendar, but don't worry, I'm going to realize that soon enough, and I'm going back to fix that in a minute. But moving on for now, we are in the first weekly spread, and I just want to say that every weekly spread was inspired by Erin Smith. I didn't have the brain capacity at the time to come up with ideas, and I just wanted something quick and easy, so I took ideas from her own setups and I put them in here. So this first one is basically dividing each page in 6. So in total I have 12 sections, which 4 of them I'm going to use for decoration, and 8 sections I'm going to put the first 3 days and the following week in them. So how am I going to put 10 days in 8 sections? Well, I'm going to put each weekend in one section. So instead of having Saturday and Sunday separate in 2 sections, I'm putting them together in just one. My mom doesn't have a big to-do list on the weekends, so I think it's fine to do this in this first spread. The other ones are going to be different. I alternated between 2 zebra mite liners, one purple and the other green, to color every second line of each section, except the ones meant for decoration. And that just helps visually defining the functional parts of the spread without doing any boxes. Honestly, I wish I had lighter colors to do this, but I don't have that many pastel colors, especially in purple and green, so these ones had to do the job. So note to myself, buy markers in pastel colors. I used number stickers from Ikigai Papier, and then it was time to decorate, and I kept every section very minimal. Moving on to the second weekly, on the contrary of the previous one, this one is going to have boxes. And honestly, I think this one and the last weekly I'm going to do later are my favorites, because I really like how they turned out. So for this one, I'm leaving a little space on the bottom of the spread where I'm going to put washi tapes across both pages, and then above it I'm doing 7 boxes for each day of the week, and I chose the space on the top left corner to put some decoration. You could choose any place for decoration, you just have to draw the boxes in other places. I colored every second line again with the 2 colors to keep the consistency going, and after putting the number stickers and writing the days of the week, we could move on to the decoration. For the bottom, I'm using the purple foliage washi tape from Ikigai Papier as well, and the beige gingham one that I got from a local shop, and I'm just putting them across the spread, and I'm going to put little teacups on top of them. So it's kinda like the tapes are serving as a tablecloth for the teacups to sit on. And then on the little space I left in the top left corner, I'm putting one of those Cafés stickers because it just fits the space like a glove. Next we have the third weekly, and this one is going to be an horizontal layout, and I'm dividing each section with a very thin washi tape. That's kinda hard to see, but it's a purple wavy line with some curves and details. I made 8 sections in total, so I'm using 7 for the 7 days of the week, and the extra one is for notes. To decorate this spread was very simple. I just put stickers on the left side and then on the right side, and I just alternated between the sides in every section. So it naturally makes the spread more balanced because the visual weight is distributed equally between the pages. So you don't have all the visual weight on the bottom or the top or the sides, they are sprinkled around on the spread. After I added a few teacups, because they had to be present, I colored the first line of each section, which I was going to use to put the day and the day of the week. But then it looked weird just with that single line, so I ended up coloring in every second line again, just like the other spreads. And honestly, I don't think it looks better either, but at least it's consistent with the other weeklies. Moving on to the final weekly, in this one, all the functional parts are going to be on the center of the spread. So it will have some negative space around the edges of the spread, which I like very much. So again, just as we did in the first weekly, we are dividing each section by coloring in every second line and alternating between purple and green. And I'm leaving some sections empty to put some decoration later on. Starting from right to left, the first space is a vertical one that would have two sections if it was a functional part, and I'm using one of the Cafés stickers to fill in that space. Then for the one on the top that is horizontal, I'm putting the three washi tapes I'm using next to each other, and I'm using again that sticker with the drooping flowers on top of them, because it's just too good for that space to not use it. And finally, for the corner on the bottom left, I'm doing a little collage, so I'm putting the doily and then some stickers on top to fill in the space. I thought it was missing something, so I used that thin washi tape again that I used on the previous weekly, and I put it across both pages on the top and the bottom, and then because my calculations were wrong, the functional part was slightly higher on the page. So to compensate that, I added another line to the bottom sections to camouflage my mistake a little bit more. Now we are on the last spread of this setup, and as usual, this is going to be a monthly expenses tracker on the left page and a brain dump on the right. Starting with the expenses, I'm doing a table that I always do for this page, and I have three columns: the item, the date, and the price. And then on the bottom, I have the total. So basically the item is everything that my mom spent her money on. It could be monthly things like water, internet, things for the house. It could be clothes, gifts for someone, literally anything. And then we have the date, because sometimes it's important to check something later, and of course the price to keep everything within budget. I wrote the title slightly higher. I guess I was all over the place in this setup. So I wrote gastos mensais, which means monthly expenses in English. I did the same thing with the drop shadow, and then to compensate the space between the title and the table, I'm putting some stickers. So it kinda acted as a place for decoration, even though it was a mistake on my side. Then for the brain dump, I'm just going to decorate the top and the bottom of the page because I want to keep the page as empty as I can. That's the point of a brain dump, is having a space to write about anything. It can be ideas, notes, reminders, quotes, anything. So I'm bringing back the green paper and I'm just going to put some stickers mainly on the bottom. And I'm using the same type of sticker that I used for the quote page right in the beginning to write the title for this one. And that was just to keep the consistency throughout the setup, because I still haven't used that particular stickers anywhere. And it's time for the final flip through. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give a like, subscribe, and comment down below a teacup emoji to let me know you watched it till the end. I really love the color palette on this one. The purples, the greens, and the beiges go really well together, and I think it really gives you a spring vibe without being a theme about flowers. Of course, those are more easy to do because you can just put a flower anywhere and it already acts as decoration, but I think this one turned out very cute as well. The things I would change, however, are the color of the lines. This was way too dark, and the coloring of every second line on the weeklies. Not because of that, but because of the colors. I would do it again, but with lighter colors instead. But let me know what you think down below. This one is not in my top favorites, but it's cute, so I can't really complain about it, and my mom really likes it, so that's what really matters. I hope you have a lovely day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!